Thanks for staying with us here at the Sunday Sports Buzz presented by Sam Swope here in the iTech Studios. Our number 964-2121. Make sure to catch our radio show during the week, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 on 1450 AM WQKC. And a couple of new shows we have on the radio station as well from 6 to 7 each of those nights. On Monday and Wednesday, we're going to have a special UK sports show hosted by Scott Anderson of Nation in Blue, TJ Walker of CatsIllustrated.com. And then Tuesday and Thursdays at 6 o'clock, the Cardinal Connection, Bacon, Rob Jones, Nick Coffey. They're all going to be there to talk about Cardinal sports. And then hopefully on Friday, we'll probably be getting a high school show from 6 to 7 as the high school basketball season kicks in. So we got a lot going on at 1450. Joining me tonight, John Lewis, who also is going to host our Friday Sports Buzz here on Channel 21, starting in 2 weeks at 12 midnight. It's going to be perfect to recap all the Friday night basketball from around the state.
Oh, yeah, we're looking forward to it, yeah.
Absolutely. And he hosts our Friday afternoon Sports Buzz as well with Handsome Jimmy on 1450. Hey, a couple of big things happened this week. Coach Mike Krzyzewski got win number 903. Coach K, 903, has been doing it for so long, so successful, such a pillar of integrity, really. College basketball people try to model, programs try to model themselves after what Coach K has built. And then Tim Tebow wins a game again on Thursday night. Miraculous end-of-game drive down the field through 9 of 20 passing, wins the game. The week before, 2 of 8 passing, wins the game. He's 4-1 as a starter. My question, John, is why do people love to hate both these guys so much?
Well, I think sometimes success breeds contempt in the case of Coach K. And I think in the case of Tim Tebow, I think a lot of people if you dislike Tim Tebow, you don't know the guy. But if you think that he's a sustainable NFL quarterback out there, I got to just think that, have you seen the NFL? Do you think that this guy is really going to be a success? You say he wins the games, but this guy is not winning games.
I think he is.
This guy is in the win column. This is like, but he does it in the first 3.5 quarters. The guy is non-existent. He's terrible, and then he comes back in the fourth quarter. It's like I think Tebow fans out there, if somebody takes the movie Geely and then they edit in the ending of The Godfather, they would think this is an Oscar-winning movie because they don't care what happened for the first 3 quarters. They just saw the end of it and think that's what should have happened.
Well, the thing, when I say hate Tebow, it's a little strong because it's more hate on his game. Because I don't know why people are so they're in such a hurry to rush him out of the league. Like he doesn't belong.
Because he's terrible.
He's better than half of the other quarterbacks right off the bat. There's so many quarterbacks that maybe don't belong. He at least belongs. Now, you could say he's not going to be a star. You could say he's not a Pro Bowler. But how can you say he does not belong in the league? The guy, there's a lot more to playing quarterback than just throwing a pretty pass, or else Jeff George would be in the Hall of Fame. Tebow has actually, he's done it the hard way, John. He's winning without throwing the ball. He won going 2 for 8. He scored a touchdown and threw a touchdown pass to win a game 2 weeks ago, going 2 for 8 in the game passing.
What does he do? Tim Tebow doesn't win games. He doesn't put his team in a position to win. They put him in a position to win,
and then he wins it.
And then he takes advantage of that, sure. But look, the go-ahead score against Miami, which he was terrible in that game, was a kick in overtime to win it. Eddie Royal against Oakland had an 85-yard touchdown punt return for a touchdown. Tim Tebow wasn't involved. The Broncos defense in the 4 wins has only given up 5 offensive touchdowns. Now, they gave up 14 when Kyle Orton was starting. So the defense has gotten better. Nobody's talking about special teams, talking about defense. They're talking about Tim Tebow winning games. Tim Tebow is not winning games for the Denver Broncos.
Tim Tebow he's got the clutch in him. That's what he's got. And he can develop into just a good enough passer, just get a little bit better, then he can maybe sustain something throughout the course of the game. But at the end of the game, he's got the one thing, it's the hardest thing you can't teach. He's got it already. That's why I think the guy can be fine in the NFL. He'd be an 8-8 quarterback. That's what he can be, but that's better than most. Coach K, on the other hand. Which people probably hate Duke because they're the New York Yankees, and the success. There's a little jealousy. It's funny. You think all the way back to '86 championship game. That's when he kind of burst onto the scene. Was '86 when Louisville beat his team had been number 1 the whole year, Duke, and Louisville beats in the championship game. He goes on this phenomenal run, and I think he's really is what you want a college coach to be. I think, and You saw he learned from Bob Knight. He got that hug from Knight. Knight was probably telling him, "You wouldn't have been anything without me."
I'm sure he
Don't you
was.
ever forget it. That's probably when he was whispering in his ear. But I put together, John, a list of what I think are the top 5 active. You put one together too. These are active coaches right now, any sport at any level. And you and I both have the same 2 guys at the top of the list. And we got some pushback here with the Sports Buzz crew on Bill Belichick being number 1 on both of our lists. I still think he's got it. I still think if you had a coaching opening and you could hire Bill Belichick, you do it.
Look at the 32 coaches in the league. I mean, who are some of the coaches that you would take over Bill Belichick? I mean, I don't care if you had the bottom rung talent or the top rung talent. I think Bill Belichick is the best active coach in the NFL. Just take a look at all the other coaches. Be honest with yourself and tell me you couldn't put Bill Belichick in there.
Yeah, and that we both have Coach K number 2.
Right.
Now, I thought maybe, does anybody out there give us a call? You think that he might not even be the best college basketball coach? I want to hear from you in our final minutes, 964-2121. I've got Gino Auriemma 3. You got Pat Summitt. We're in the women's game.
Sure.
You got Summitt ahead of Auriemma.
Well, she does have one more championship. And what she has done over time, not that Gino hasn't, but what she has done over time is incredible, especially in the SEC. You know, with 15 SEC tournament champions, she was a 7-time coach of the year. I just thought she edges Gino in that position.
I got Saban 4. I think he's the number 1 college football coach out there. Roy Williams, a guy I thought might get some love over Coach K in some of our viewers' minds maybe. And I'll put Mike Tomlin at 5. You got Gary Patterson. Explain that one to us a bit.
You know, Gary Patterson at TCU, what he's done, never being a real head coach in college football, takes over in 2001, goes 6-6, then after that 10-2, 11-2, had a little bit of a setback in 2004, then 11 wins, 8 wins, goes to all these bowls. He's 4 or 5 in the last 4 for 5 in the last 5 bowls. Went to the Rose Bowl last year and won it. He's a guy that gets overlooked. Now, maybe when they're in the bigger conference now, they'll get some more love because he is very good.
He won on the blue turf. You can't beat that as well this year. Okay, let's go to Trey, who's with us on Sunday Sports Buzz. Trey, he might have fallen off. Do we have any more callers? No callers right now. Jump on in our last minute or so. A couple guys that didn't make my list, John, just off my top 5 were Jim Harbaugh, because I think he needs to do it longer.
What he's doing with Alex Smith is incredible.
Even though 9-1 right now with the Niners, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy, if he wins again, you'd have to put him maybe at the top of the list in the NFL if he wins the Super Bowl again. Joe Madden from the Rays. I thought baseball-wise he might be the guy that can win with less talent, less payroll.
Well, that payroll he did and that he had with that World Series was incredible. Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of people that were just on the cusp, and I got to be honest with you, Calipari has to be there. He's got to be in the top 10.
He has to be there. Let's see what he does with this team right here, because he got the pressure on. I had Doc Rivers as my NBA entry into this list as well, even though some of our crew, they're not believers.
Not so much on the
championship, Game 7, and almost won Game 7 without Kendrick Perkins.
They're buying into this whole, you know, he had great talent kind of thing, but great talent makes great coaches.
Absolutely. Also, we've been talking about Louisville and Kentucky, but, well, we're almost off the air. All right, Sunday Sports Buzz presented by Sandstrom. We'll see you next week.